Mr. Obie.
A frosty morning at CBS, 1971.
I don't have a photo of Mr. Obie, so this will have to do. We had a neighbor by the name of Obie, but since he was older than any of us, we called him Mr. Obie. Every year, his sweet corn got ripe way before ours or anyone else's around here. Mr. Obie was a nice man, a good neighbor, but he sure loved to chat. And when we were walking by, he couldn't resist stopping us to announce, "Last night we ate our first sweet corn, yep." You what? Ours weren't anywhere near ripe. It seemed that every year there was Mr. Obie, waiting for us with a little smile. "Had a sweet corn last night, yep." That son of a gun.
Being the first one with ripe sweet corn is a big deal in these parts.
Even though Mr. Obie didn't exactly rub it in, we knew he got an awful lot of pleasure telling us, "Ate our first ears of sweet corn last night. Yep, we did." So one year, getting towards spring, we asked Mr. Obie, "How do you do it?" Because if you stick the kernels into the ground too early and the ground is cold, it won't germinate. And if it does, when the tender shoots pop up, a late frost will kill it for sure.
So we buttered Obie up a bit, and he revealed his secret.
He said, "I keep an eye on the weatherman." We stayed silent. "When the plants are up, and if the weatherman is saying there may be a frost, I get up early and I sprinkle them with water. But you gotta do it before the sun hits them."
So we innocently asked,
"How early this spring will you be planting?" And Mr. Obie gave us a date, and we looked surprised. We were, and shook our heads in wonder, 'cause that was pretty early. So that spring,
we planted 4 days before Obie.
And sure enough, when the plants came up, the weatherman said there'd be a frost, and just as the sun was coming up, we were out there with watering cans,
shivering in the friggin' cold,
sprinkling water on the little corn shoots. And damn, it worked. The plants somehow survived. And a couple months later, Meatball was riding his bike by when Mr. Obie hailed him down to announce, "Last night ate our first sweet corn, yep." Now, as Fulton was opening his mouth to say, "Well, 3 nights ago we ate our first sweet corn, yep," but he didn't say it. He could see it would have hurt Obie something awful.
And it was then that Fulton discovered the power of blessed silence.
He hadn't realized that keeping quiet, not saying a word, could be so ego-gratifying. Knowing that you had bested someone, had beaten them at their own game. Knowing you can crush them in an instant, but instead, you say nothing.